My name is Paul Bernard. I am the owner and founder of Precision Martial Arts in Camberley. I'm a world kickboxing champion, European, British, as well as a European BJJ champion. I also won a television show for Sky One, so I've been doing martial arts a very long time. And my school's been running since 2001, so that's nearly 16 years, or is 16 years. And we have currently about 200 members within our academy. In the beginning, we used to run our business very traditionally. So we would go out and market. We would literally go out and find people and do lots of things in events. And it was very old school, give out flyers and cards. And we still kind of do that now, but not to the same degree. I saw an advert about 2 years ago on about how you can get clients from using Facebook. And I was intrigued. And when I found out, I ended up signing up with a coach who was teaching me how to get those clients. And what I found was initially very, very cool. It was a really new thing to find that all of a sudden we've got all these new clients coming in from Facebook and not my other sources. So it was a whole new world. And we're getting some fantastic results. I guess my biggest problem or frustrations were that through time, it was sporadic. You could never really truly predict. And a lot of the time I spent putting together the ads, the campaigns with Facebook, and over that 2-year period, it was quite painful. There were some moments where you're like, yep, fantastic, I've got it through, application forms are coming in, this is great, and then the next minute, all this money's going out, but there's no application forms coming in, or you're getting a Facebook ban, or you're getting not approved. And I just got to a point where I was spending more time studying how to do it, rather than just getting on with doing business and marketing. My biggest frustration at the time of working with Facebook ads was the time it took me to develop it. It would take me a week to put an ad together. You'd have to get the image, you'd have to get the size right. Once you got the size right, the wording right. Once you got the wording right, you'd then have to write the copy. You then have to put all that together in a marketing campaign. You'd put it out there, and if you got banned, then you're just back to the drawing board. So you're spending all this time doing all this stuff, and really all you want to do is get a client through the door, be able to get them started into a system and help from there. On average, I spent 90% of my time on doing ads. If I wasn't teaching, I was doing ads. And now that I have a little freedom, I find that I spend a lot of my time getting on with the stuff that's actually really, really important. At the time when I was learning a lot about marketing on Facebook, I was getting frustrated because I wasn't breaking through myself. So I was being coached by a person called Martin. And what I noticed in the time when he was coaching me, not only did he know more than me, he knew the little differences, but he was educating me on what the differences were. And he just seemed to be able to do it so effortlessly. So when he was able to offer it as a service, for me, it was like, that's such a big headache off my mind. I know what Martin's capable of. I know he knows exactly how to hit that golden vein. So to me, it just made sense when I found out that he was setting up to do Done for Fit Pros, that yeah, this makes sense to be with someone that just knows how to do it. So I can get on with the other stuff in the business rather than sit there all my time doing all the marketing. I know, hand on heart, I've got someone that if I tell them what I need doing, with regards to marketing, he'll do it, and I can just get on with all the other stuff. There were times when we were putting together campaigns, he would look at the metrics and come back to me and say, you might as well shut that off, that's not working, let's do a different approach, and not waste my money and not waste my time. It seemed like he genuinely had my best interest at heart, and whenever he said to me, okay, we're gonna do this and this is the result we're gonna get, sometimes I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. But he's never failed like that. He's always got extraordinary results for me, and I realized that he's a very integral part of my business in that sense. My initial concerns about getting on board was I was spending a lot on coaching initially, and I couldn't truly justify the returns on investment. And I was thinking, well, I've already done this. I've already seen the pattern. Sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's a struggle. If I go on with Martin and I get him on board and I start to spend money with him, is it going to be any different from the past? That was my biggest concern. So through time, what I realized was as soon as I started to spend money with Martin and got him onto doing the marketing side of things, it made it very easy for me to see returns. And that was something that we weren't having before. And it's guaranteed. When I say guaranteed, every single month I've seen a return. He kind of turned around and said to me at the very beginning, I will guarantee this is what's going to happen. If it doesn't, I won't charge you. That was kind of a bold statement. So I went, all right, let's see what you got. And he proved his point. He did it. So from there, we kind of had that strong relationship. My biggest frustration with Facebook was I was the guy that was getting banned every single week. And it got to a point, they would ban my ads, then they would suspend the account, and then they actually officially banned my marketing account. So I had to go through the process of setting up another account. But then I realized that a lot of the mistakes I was making is simply down to, if you're an expert in copy, if you're an expert in knowing what the criteria Facebook looks for. I mean, I've gone through the Facebook criteria and it's not as simple as it's quite complex. But I found with DFFP, he understood the difference. And now I guess my rating on Facebook's gone way up, and that's essentially down to DFFP. When I was doing it, it would take about a week. Even when I got into my, all right, I've got all the things set up in place, it would take me a day eventually. But Martin, or DFFP, when they get onto doing it, it's very quick. I mean, my first ad I gave to him, the stuff in the morning, it was up by the afternoon. And then you could tell that he keeps changing it to make sure it's working, and gets it to a point where actually, when it starts working, application keeps coming in. And it's not like it's just general leads, it's quality leads, the needs that we need for our industry, so to speak. Since being with FitPros, it's given me the ability to be a lot freer. One of the things that I very much value is the fact that they get on with the marketing side of things. I can now get on with the important stuff. The teaching the martial art lessons, the enrollments, looking after my clients and looking after my staff. Next week will be the first time I'll officially have the time to create a system. And I've been trying to do that for the last 2 years. And when I say a system, I mean not focusing on marketing, but a system for my business so it could become a lot more easier to run. So if I'm not here, I don't have those issues in the future. I'm in a place where I feel very confident that DFFP will deliver. So my stress isn't about how many leads I can get in. My stresses have changed a lot. I would say in the time frame I've been with DFFP, our sales have gone up. There's been a lot more happiness in the work environment. I know me and my business colleagues are a lot more happier. So I think it's taken us to a place where we're having freedom, not just in being able to do other things in the business, but mentally, actually in a more better place to produce a better result. I guess when you feel freer and happier, you're able to go out and do better things. I looked at the numbers. I look at the numbers all the time, but I looked at them in a slightly different way just before today, and I was actually surprised. It's grown in the sense of it's been very consistent. Normally we have we know how many people we're roughly going to enroll. We know how many people we're going to lose. We know kind of those statistics, but it's jumped up. So for us, there is a magic number we want to hit, and we're not that far off that magic number. So I know from where we were when we started to now, massive progression. I know how much money we've spent. I know exactly how much money we've made and how much profit we've made. I actually know to a point of how much it's costing me per application form, which is huge. And I've noticed over the coming months that's gone down. I've also seen an increase in our retention and people staying on for extra courses. So it's massively changed the business. The way I look at it is like what we've seen in the first 4 months, say, if this carries on like this, what's going to be like after 12 months? And that to me is extraordinary. And the best thing about it is it's not me having to worry too much about doing that stuff. It's done. I can now focus on the other stuff. So when we have the people coming in, we can look after them in a better way and produce this service that I guess we're all dreaming for. If I had met someone like Martin earlier, I would have got educated earlier. It would have saved me 2 years. And the reality is, I would have learnt the stuff, but I wouldn't have to have done the stuff. I think there's parts of a business that are all kind of pieces of a jigsaw. And when you put it all together, great, you've got a phenomenal business. And I know that marketing, that side, is a very, very important part. And when it comes to social media and stuff like that, I've met loads of people in the industry, so to speak, and Martin's a very genuine guy and someone that you not only can trust, but at the end of the day, he's got your best interest at heart. I noticed that Martin is very passionate about what he does. And I noticed that when he was coaching me, when we were doing the metrics especially, I was looking and going, oh, this is great, you're doing a fantastic, this is brilliant, this is much better than I've ever done. He's like, no, no, it's not right. You know, okay, this guy not only knows his stuff, but he knows what it's supposed to be like. And that shows someone that cares. Whereas I guess the average person would be like, well, you're getting the numbers, aren't you? It's all right, isn't it? It's fine, let's just keep going like that. And he'll be honest, if it wasn't working, I think that's important. I think when things aren't working, it's nice to have somebody that's got the expertise to say to you, right, it isn't right, but we're going to do this. These are the things that we can do to progress forward. And I think you can only get that from a genuine person.